Hello, YouTube. My name is Plazukas. I don't know if you saw because of how the algorithm works, but I did do 3 videos and I reacted to the Hassan Ethan Klein debate. They're about 3.5 hours of a 5 to 6 hour debate. And I don't even think it encompassed an hour and a half of that debate, the actual reaction that I did. And I decided to private those because for me, it's so hard to talk about politics and cultural wars and all the plight that has existed in the world today, and to do it without getting into full political discourse. And today, I see Tectone. I see Asmongold. They're all embracing this narrative of like deplatforming Hassan, deplatforming Frogan, all these people who they call terrorists on the platform. And they may have some rhetoric, but after watching many hours of that debate, I can at least say that Hassan makes some valid points regarding the Israel Gaza war. He does. I'm not saying that it doesn't get lost in his 8 hour fucking Twitch streams, because all these fucking idiots get lost in their sauce and say some stupid ass shit that could be perceived as, supporting Hamas or terrorist organizations, or having some form of ambiguity as it comes to justifying, retaliation attacks and stuff like that because of the humanitarian issues that have been existing in the Middle East, and specifically Israel and the Palestine, Israel, Gaza, and such. I get it, and I don't condone it. However, if we're gonna call a spade, then we need to start making it so that everybody is held accountable for their actions as well, including people like Tectone. Sure, if we're talking about soldiers, United States soldiers or whatever else, if we're talking about actual like human people, potential death threats, all this stuff, right? There is levels here. There's definitely a difference, but that line is very thin because bullying, hate speech, deplatforming, these kind of things apparently are not acceptable, and yet it's done in time and time again on Twitch, not just from Hassan, not just from Frogan, from people like Asmongold, people like Tectone, who create this narrative. How many game developers have you seen got death threats? That's because of the narrative of wokeism or DEI practices or whatever else. That is legitimate people potentially dying, not as much, but still in a similar vein to what something like Hassan and Frogan are potentially spreading. And I don't even know what they're spreading because I don't watch their fucking shows all the time. So I don't know what their whole entire message is. I do know what Tectones is, and it's a negative, and it's bullying, and it's hateful, and it's hurtful. So if you're going to call people out, clearly you're on the side of history. You're currently in the political right side of history right now, Tectone. I agree. You know what? Hassan's probably going to get banned. Frogan's probably going to get banned permanently from this platform. There's just too much pressure for them not to. And I don't know if it's justified or warranted. But political speech is protected. There are things that are protected in this country. And hateful speech isn't protected. So where does Twitch draw the line? If it draws the line to actually ban Hassan for hateful speech, which is what it is, okay, or terrorism, I guess, in some cases. I guess if they really want to go that far, we'll see if they can show actual evidence of that. And I'm not trying to defend Hassan or Frogan. I already saw the message that Frogan said about the American soldiers, although taken out of context in many different aspects of the internet. And I'm not going to list Asmongold here, but Asmongold was asked if he would interview Hassan, someone who he has been talking about for a year now. This little pussy ass bitch said no. He has a platform that equals Hassan's, who's been basically behind Hassan's back this whole fucking time, spreading all this misinformation potentially, and he won't actually take an interview with Hassan. What a pussy ass bitch. What a pussy ass fucking bitch Asmongold is. Whatever respect I would have had, and I don't have a lot of respect for Asmongold, that's a pussy ass bitch move, in my opinion. Let's get to what Tectone is saying now. He's on this full campaign. Let me be very clear. He's on this full campaign now. He's embracing this. He liked the response that he got from saying he stick up for soldiers, which was not what that message was about. You know that MTash video that I did a reaction to that Tectone says is not about Gotcha Smack? Well, that video or that message that Tectone says is about the soldiers is not. It's about him. Same basic narcissistic shit that you see in both of those people. Great video, covered all the bullshit. It's worse than you think. Subscribe if you got a second. Appreciate y'all. Using it to boost up his numbers, right? Taking something that is genuinely bad potentially and using it to boost up your numbers. I'm generally considering full swapping to YouTube if this terrorist propaganda isn't punished harshly and immediately on Twitch. My father, my brothers, and our soldiers do not bleed, sacrifice, and die for this bullshit to be allowed and promoted on Twitch. This needs to change immediately. Now, it sounds like he comes from a military family. I can show you a clip where Tectone, unfortunately, says him as though he implied he served, but I'm not going to do that. And that's often, if you talk in sentences and stuff like that, you can get tripped up. So I'm going to assume that he didn't mean himself, but his father did serve, apparently, a very long time in the military. And thank you for your service. There is no but to that. There's nothing to that. Thank you for your service if you served in this country. Period. What the fuck is that? Frogan explains why she included AB in her video and leaked his DMs. Also says she's done giving AB and Lena the benefit of the doubt. Who are you to think that your words being leaked are that powerful? I don't know what happened here. Again, I don't want to get into this, so I'm just keeping it very Tectone. Why did you assume this was about you, buddy? Question mark. Is this because you know you're punishing terrorist propaganda? You're pushing terrorist propaganda, which is directly against TOS? Kind of weird, big guy. Yeah, so isn't hateful speech as of the April update. And admittedly, you said you're not able to run ads because of the hateful speech that you were disciplined from. That is also against terms of service as well. And you keep on spreading it, by the way. I'm going to do a video soon about an individual that you just you continuously bully online currently. You're going to ruin his life. Potentially have him have death threats from your teenage community. That probably won't act on it, but still. Oh no, what will anyone do if the bald pervert leaves the Twitch platform for good? Obviously, the counter argument is, whoa, what would anybody do if a Twitch terrorist leaves the platform for good? We're going to go back and forth. And maybe both are justly true. Would the world be better without Hassan and Tectone on Twitch? And they went to YouTube. No, because they can go to YouTube. Would the world be better if someone like Hassan and Twitch were off Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook? We'll let him go on Kick, because Kick has a bad reputation as it is. We'll let him go on Kick, and then whatever that other one that Dr. Disrespect was on for a minute, or still on. I don't even know what the exclusivity deal is for that. We'll let him on that platform, because then you are considered what you are on that platform. On Kick. Even though people on Twitch are still that. People on YouTube are still that. People on Instagram are still that. People on TikTok are still that. We've talked about this. Just because you act good doesn't mean you are good. And in some cases, it's better to be who you are so that, you're not hiding. But admittedly, if you are spreading hateful speech, which is what Tectone does, which potentially is what Hassan does, which potentially is what Frogan does, which potentially is what Asmongold does. Sure. If we're going to deplatform people and we're not going to respect their freedom of speech and really suggest if someone is actually being hurtful, if someone is causing these things, is Hassan causing these things? Is Tectone causing these things? Or is it just words? Is it just people online having a discourse? That's a decision Twitch has to make. That's a decision that all these social media platforms have to make on a continuous basis. I'm sure it's very difficult. And Congress has not helped. Stay tuned. My name is Plizzic. If you like this content, like, subscribe. We'll see you next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.